Let's make a little deal, alright? If I make this shot, you gotta subscribe. Hello, I am standing next to the Sur Ron that I have been riding and upgrading for about 2 years now. It's got quite a few power upgrades as well as performance and aesthetic changes. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through everything I've done to this bike to date, pretty much in the order that I did it. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I'm on my own. I don't need no one. I'm in my zone.
So I bought this bike for $3,200 used from Lunicycle about 2 years ago. It is a Sur Ron X. They don't come in color anymore in the US. They're all black now. It's a red Sur Ron X from 2018. And the first things I did to it that I'd recommend all new Sur Ron owners do to their bike is I upgraded the pegs and the handlebars. I've got 3-inch riser Deity 31.8 millimeter riser bars up on the front. Makes a huge difference for the riding posture, both off-road and for wheelies. You can stand up a little more comfortable having the higher bars. The pegs are Warp 9 pegs. You can also fit RMZ 250 pegs, I believe, before 2012. Also makes a huge difference for the rideability of the bike. You get way more grip on your feet. I believe the very next upgrade I did to this bike was actually the Supermoto wheel set. I was riding on the street almost entirely and I thought it made sense, which it does if you ride mostly street. These are 17-inch custom Supermoto wheels from Wicked Wheel Works. I got them for $500. At the time he was selling on eBay, he's not doing that anymore, so you might have to look elsewhere for some custom wheels. Anyone that rides mostly street, I would definitely recommend getting a set of Supermoto wheels. They grip the pavement a lot better, they're a little lighter, and I think they look really good on the frame. To add a little character, I threw on an LED underglow kit from Sur Ron Pit Stop. Adds a lot of bright colors at night. It's also a little safer too for visibility. The brakes are fully upgraded. I've got a larger 220mm rotor on the front. This is a Magura floating rotor. And I've got actually the stock Sur Ron brake rotor in the back because the bolt pattern's proprietary. It's really hard to find replacement rotors for the rear. Magura MT5 hydraulic 4-piston brakes, both front and rear. Highly recommend these brakes. They're about $120 per end. You get the master cylinder and the caliper. Brake fade is a concern on these bikes. You're running mountain bike brakes on pretty much a motorcycle, and as a result, the brake pads wear out super quick. So I wanted to try something new, and I ordered these custom Kevlar brake pads all the way from Europe. They're made in Lithuania. They fit into the MT5 brakes, and they are outstanding. They've got great braking power, and they've lasted already 2 months. The Magura pads that Magura sells for these brakes last about a month. So highly recommend the Kevlar pads. All the links are going to be down below. In order to fit the front brake on a larger 220mm rotor, I have 2 spacers and longer bolts. I've got another video that I walk through how I did this, and I will link it up above. Had to change out the grips. These are Pro Taper grips. They're all torn up from dumping the bike, but they work great. Since filming the beginning of this video, I've also installed a headlight that I'm super excited about. This is the Fisher Fab House headlight plug and play for the Sur Ron. 3200 lumens. It is blindingly bright. It lights up the entire street at night. Fortunately, you have 4 power modes. I use power mode 1 during the day and then 2 at night. 3 and 4 really are, I think, dangerously bright at night. You'll be blinding drivers, but this light is a beast. I think it looks amazing. It's plug and play for the Sur Ron. The mount fits perfectly. It's small but incredibly bright. Highly recommend it. I've got this direct stem mount that I've installed invertedly because I think it looks better. Nice addition: when you drop the bike, the bars don't twist. You don't have to realign them every time you drop the bike. Speaking of dropping the bike, I've also got a peg spacer between my 2 pegs. This is essential for a Sur Ron. It's one of the weakest points of the bike. When you tip the bike, the peg mount tends to bend or break. So when you've got the peg spacer, you can dump the bike and your pegs stay on. That was from Sur Ron Shop. Also from Sur Ron Shop, I've got this steel bash guard. It's far more robust than the stock bash guard. If you do any serious off-roading, or really quite frankly any riding, you're going to want an upgraded bash guard, and this one's been great from Sur Ron Shop. I've got a carbon fiber battery lid from Flow Carbon here. It's absolutely stunning gloss carbon fiber, all genuine. Fits right on there. I installed a 62 tooth sprocket. This is about as big as I've seen anyone put on a Sur Ron. It's definitely for stunting. It picks up the front wheel just instantly, but you really do sacrifice top speed. It's very easy to loop the bike, but very fun upgrade as well. I also upgraded the headset bearing in this bike. That was one of the weakest points of the stock Sur Rons before about 2020. They were coming with a different style headset bearing, which caused a lot of troubles for everyone, including me. A lot of wiggle room in the headset. I since installed a 2020 tapered bearing headset that you find on any newer Sur Ron, and it's been great. It definitely solved that problem. Now getting into the more pricey upgrades, this front fork is a Marsaki Bomber 58. This was very generously purchased for me by a fan on Instagram. You know who you are, massive shout out. They're about $1,000 and I think they look really good and they do perform much better than the stock suspension. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about the power upgrades. I'm running a 72 volt 32 amp hour Molicel battery from Lightspeed. Outstanding battery. It's put up with all the abuse I've put it through. The customer service of Lightspeed isn't quite there. I think a lot of people are familiar with those lead times and sort of a lack of communication with customers, but the batteries, they are outstanding. I can't deny that. Now, in order to run a more powerful battery like this, you're going to need a more powerful controller. This is a BAC 4000 ASI controller, tuned and sold by Emoto Bros. They have outstanding customer service and they're constantly updating their tune so that it just keeps getting better and better. This controller really is the keystone for this bike. It is what brings it alive. Doubles the top speed, doubles the range, doubles the fun. Can't recommend it enough if you're ready for it. It took me about a year and a half before I felt confident upgrading the power on this bike. I know a lot of people, they'll get this controller before they even get the bike. I respect it, to each his own. I personally would recommend getting used to the stock power. It's already pretty powerful and pretty dangerous out of the box. And it took me about a year and a half before I felt like it was time to upgrade the power, but I'm very glad that I did. The Emoto Bros controller comes with this egg rider display, very small and sleek, but it has all the information on there that you need, as well as all the buttons you need to change your power level and your mode. Now, I don't think I could sleep at night if I didn't have a tracker on this bike. I go with the Invoxia GPS tracker. This is a GPS tracker. It's not Bluetooth or Wi-Fi like an AirTag, so it can track your bike absolutely anywhere. It's got a great app that tells you where the bike is at all times. It gives me amazing peace of mind. If I'm away from the bike, I know exactly where it is. Highly recommended. You only have to charge it about once a month. Very affordable yearly subscription plan. The first year's free. Links are in the description. Now, as for range and top speed, which rightfully so is pretty much all that people care about, top speed anywhere from 60 to 90 miles an hour depending on your gear ratio, your wheels, and your power level. Range, I've gotten up to 70 miles on this, but I think you'll expect with heavy riding at least 50 miles. So that is everything I've done to this bike. As far as future upgrades, I'm thinking a rear shock, and I don't know what else there is to change on this bike. Pretty much all that's left at this point is the motor and the frame. So maybe if somebody comes out with an upgraded motor, I'll throw that on there, but this is about as much as you can do to a Sur Ron. I'm very proud of it. It's more than fun enough. I have an absolute blast on this every single day. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ride it right now just so you can get a sense of, you know, what kind of performance you get out of a bike like this. Let's get it. So those are the upgrades on this bike. I'm going to do a little demo ride right now. I'll do some wheelies. The front wheel picks up so easy. You do not need to put any weight into it. Yeah. there you go. Those are all the mods I put onto this bike. I think the highlights would be the controller and battery that increase the power. I think something special about this bike is how big the sprocket is. It's really just an unreal amount of torque, especially with the smaller diameter wheels. Wheelies like a dream. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And stay tuned.
Yeah.